So much of pacing for me, I feel like, is just intentionally listening and watching and seeing how it's making yourself feel. You have to just be willing to take the time to sit with something and listen and see how it makes you feel. There's not a clear formula. It really is just being willing to be patient and see what feels right.
One thing I think we can all agree on is we are still in a pandemic of hurriedness. Everyone and everything is so go, go, go. Make daily content, show up on social media, get that film delivered to the client as fast as possible. And the reality is our work, our art, is suffering because of it. We need to adopt the mindset of timelessness over timeliness so that we can make films that we can be proud of and that our couples are going to adore year after year. Today I'm taking a section from my full interview with Adalenne from Cine Garden, all about the art of pacing and how she approaches every single film to make it as powerful and impactful as it can be. If you missed that full episode, you can find it here or in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in.
So when I sit down to edit, before I start actually like piecing together the actual timeline, I listen through all of the audio, all of the anything that could contribute to the narrative in the story. I listen to all of it. I narrow it down some, and then I listen to all of that again, and I narrow it down some. And then I kind of listen through and search for, okay, what is the opening statement? Like, what kind of encapsulates everything? And that doesn't work for every film. You know, like sometimes I don't open with like a statement or a moment necessarily, but when I'm kind of weaving together that narrative audio, I'm thinking about what music underneath this specific moment is going to bring about the most emotion. And it's not always like narrative audio first, then I find music. That's not true. Like I go on MUSICBED, and what I like to do is I'll listen through and look for music that I feel like really suits them and the taste of music that they have. And I'll make like a project folder and I'll just dump a bunch of songs in there. And then I'll go and kind of narrow down my narrative audio, and then I'll go back to that music and I'll listen through all of it. And I'm just kind of searching for connections between like the music and the audio that I know I want to use. And I know that's not the clearest, but I do feel like you have to just be willing to take the time to sit with something and listen and see how it makes you feel. There's not a clear formula. It really is just being willing to be patient and see what feels right.
That's the key word, patience. And I think a lot of times we get so in a hurry, especially in today's culture. We're always in a hurry. Everyone's in a hurry nowadays. It's like, how can I do this the fastest, and how can I get this done so I can work on the next thing and the next thing? But no, and everyone's process is so different. And I love how it's just like your process is not linear. It's not a straight line to get you from A to Z. It's just you're editing off of feeling, and pacing is just like, in order to really lock that in and dial in that pacing, it's just to sit with something over and over again until, okay, yes, this feels right. And it's that story instinct. It's that gut feeling that tells you that, okay, this either feels too fast, or there's creating a disconnect in this sequence for some reason. I don't know what it is, but there's a disconnect. And sometimes you just have to sit with that. And I love how you say like you're just a slow editor. And I think that's another key to why your films are so good, is because you're taking that time to sit with these things. I think that's just such a helpful tip for anyone who maybe feel like, I just don't know why my pacing feels off, or my films feel so fast, or something's just wrong. What am I doing? What am I not doing? And I think just sitting and being patient is a really good tip.
You definitely have to trust your gut. And even if you'd be surprised how many clients are 100% understanding of a longer turnaround time or a missed deadline when you can communicate to them like, look, I really want your film to feel like you, and I want it to represent you guys and your story so well. And you just can't rush that. And I, like put in your contract that there's room for you. Like, put a turnaround time that feels like ample time, like too much,
Right.
just to cover you. And that way you don't ever have to rush, because nothing, at least for me, nothing just drains me and makes me feel just than when I just pump out an edit and deliver it, because I know I just need to get it done and I didn't give it my all. Like, that makes me so sad.
100%. The lessons that I'm still learning when it comes to just managing my time better and just trying to be patient, and also wanting to just take my time with my films just to make them that much better. Because like when I look at past films, I'm like, man, I should have done this differently. And if I had taken that time, I would have thought of that, or would have been able to serve the story better. Like, case in point, I'm actually going through raw footage now from a past wedding. I'm like, wait, I missed this moment. This was such a good moment, and I missed that because I was in such a hurry. Oh, it's the worst, because like you're like, wait, well, do I just need to go back and re-edit the whole thing? Like, it just, I don't know. It's something inside me that's like, I want to redo this now because I feel like I missed something so critical.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times in our industry, there's a lot of practical, just education out there on what's proper storytelling and the way a story should be structured. And like, this is proper filmmaking. I don't know anything about, like, I didn't go to film school. I learned everything I know by listening to what makes me feel something. And so there, to me, I don't believe that there is a set formula. Like, I think the more that you can get in touch with what makes you feel something, and you're not editing because you know it's gonna, like, you're not creating this intro because you know it's going to keep people engaged and you're going to get better engagement on Instagram or YouTube. Like, you're truly just sticking to, okay, this is who they are and this is what makes me feel, and I know it's going to make them feel something. That, I think that's the way to become the filmmaker that you're supposed to be and the artist that you're supposed to be. That's like what we should all be leaning into, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's where you find your superpower, and that's where you find the distinction, the differentiator between your work and someone else's.
100%.